Welcome to Brown's Rod and Custom, your home for street rods, muscle cars, and Volkswagen content. This is my dad, Big Ron. He's our body man and fabricator. This is my beautiful wife, Megan, our editor-in-chief and supporter. And this is me, Adam, the designer and mechanic for our projects. If you find our videos helpful, like and subscribe for more content.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Brown's Rod and Custom. Wanted to ask you guys if you could do me a favor. If you're watching these videos and checking out the channel and you like what you see, if you guys could hit the subscribe button for me, we would really appreciate that. We are working our way to trying to get monetized so that we can build bigger and better cars and more builds and so on and so forth and keep doing this. And that would help us a lot if you guys could do that for us. So that's really all I got for you. Really appreciate all of you. Stay tuned. We've got lots of cool builds coming. Lots of things starting to happen on a lot of different cars. So it won't just be the Thing. It's going to be the Thing, the 40 Ford, the Apache. There's going to be a lot of things happening. So just stay tuned, and I will try my best to get you as many videos as I can, including Don's 1957 Chevy two-door post that we're working on. There's a lot going on over there too. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for everything. We really appreciate you. Have a great night.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Brown's Rod and Custom. Happy Wednesday, I believe. I believe it's hump day. So happy hump day. So Ron has been trying to get the steering column out here. So it's almost there. But basically we've been trying, the whole point of this is to get this shifter to work. Okay. And so you got the steering wheels off over here, all the different bits and dabs and doos, so on. So this is the linkage we're going to be hooking up at some point.
Sit in a barn for 20 years.
But this sat in a barn for 20 years, and so apparently there's a bearing that seizes up after a while on these. So we dropped the header, pulled the spark plugs back out on this side of the motor, driver's side, and we're just kind of getting into it. So hopefully here in a little bit we'll get this column out of here, and then we'll basically go through it, and if we need that bearing we'll go ahead and have Don order it and get that going. That way we can put this thing in gear, right? That's kind of the idea here. So anyway, guys, I'll come back to you here in a little bit when we got some more done, but that's where we're at. We'll just keep on rocking here. Hopefully next couple days we'll have this thing shifting and some more of the motor put together, and hopefully in the next day or two, or God, maybe sooner, we'll get a harmonic balancer and get that on here, so then we can reassemble the radiator and all the hoses and all the things, fill up our fluids and make sure it runs. And if we can get the shifter to work, we can put it in gear, and then we'll see if we have brakes. We'll go down that road. But the brakes should, in theory, work. Everything's new, so if anything, it'll be a matter of bleeding or adjustment, that kind of thing. So anyway, guys, stay tuned. Hey, guys. All right, so as you can see, we are working on Don's 1957 Chev. I disassembled the dash. Me and Ron pulled the column out of it, the steering column. So I took out the gauge cluster, all the knobs and bits, the dash trim, the clock, the radio, the speaker up top, the speaker grill, all of that. Disassembled and the gauge cluster itself. And got all that to where tomorrow we're going to sand everything down, prime it, do some body work, and hoping by Sunday night to have this dash painted with the gauge cluster painted, glove box door, the ashtray, all the bits that get painted, steering column painted, and back in the car. Now there are some pieces here I don't have. I don't have a new clock. I don't have the right radio. I don't have I do have the heater and controls, but I'll have to clean them up if we decide to even attempt to do anything with that. The column was having trouble going into gear. Wouldn't go into gear. It was frozen up. So it's column shift. Went ahead, got that freed up. That took removing the column, the shaft, well, steering shaft is in it, but the actual column, the housing, which is over here, took this all apart, and down here, right here, was just completely gooped up with mud and rust and stuff. So we got all that clean. We took this off, cleaned it all up, and now it actually shifts and does all the things it's supposed to do. So that's ready to go, just needs to be painted. So that's what we're gonna do there. He has a new steering wheel, so this one will become wall art. This is that heater piece I'm talking about. None of this is going to get hooked back up, so there's really no need for it. So maybe I have to look tonight and see what kind of aftermarket things are out there, but this is just a little rough. This we're going to repaint. The speedometer it's got 10,000 miles on it apparently, which I don't know if that's 110,000 or 10,000, but it's at 10,000 miles. Speedo was good. These two gauges were rough looking. The temp and the fuel gauge. I believe Don's going to order new ones of those with I'm almost 1,000% sure I saw on his other 57 sitting inside of it the glass kit with the chrome rings. With these where the oil generator and the turn signal lights go, all new with the new glass and all the things. So I should be able to reassemble a lot of this cluster pretty quickly before I install it back in the car. We are going to paint this piece here. This goes to the bottom of the steering column. This is your ashtray. And clean that up, paint it. So those are the things that we're focusing on right now, because what we need to do is get the steering column back in so that we can hook up the shift linkage, which is here, get this welded to the frame. But there's absolutely 0 point in putting that steering column in it looking the way it does. And there's no point in doing anything with this dash until it's painted and ready to go. So if we can get all that done, we'll be way ahead of the game. So Sunday night, we're hoping dash painted, steering column back in it. I can't promise any of the other stuff at the moment, but dash painted turquoise, steering column painted turquoise. We would like to also, if we get lucky, it's weird. My phone, I guess Siri heard me. So we also want to hook up the shifter linkage and get all that hooked up correctly, but not until the column goes in, right? So we want to do this one time, not 10. So trying to get that in here hooked up and shifting. Now, something that did show up today, we got the new harmonic balancer. It is not on yet. It's just sitting on there. We're probably going to throw it in the oven, heat it up, and then put it on so it goes on easier. Probably do that tomorrow. But once we get that on and we get this pulley on, then we can go ahead and start thinking about putting the radiator back in at the fans, hooking up the tranny cooler lines, all of that, and getting this to where we can fire it up. We do need to do an oil change on it, put some break-in oil in it, and go down that road. Don also today ordered the Bill's hot rod bracket, so for alternator and AC. Now this does not have accessory holes in the heads, so it mounts to the water pump. So once that gets here, we'll put that on, and then just for sake of having room, we'll probably wait to put the radiator on until we do that. But he ordered it today, so hopefully in the next few days it'll come in. And then we'll get the chrome alternator back on it and all the things, get it dialed in, get it timed, and hopefully fire this thing off next week. That's my hope. I would love to drive this car next week. If we can manage to get the dash done, column in it, column shifting, and all that right, get all these lines and everything hooked up, get all the accessories back on the engine, get it in. I think we have an ignition key too. Get the ignition key in it, the right one, and wired up correctly. Right now it has an ignition key in it. That's the only thing I left in it. Was the ignition there. And it turns, but it doesn't, we don't have a key, so there's that. But get it to where we can start it with a key, and that will eliminate all of this shit over here, and this trigger thing he's got, which that'll go away, and we'll go back to, Jesus, we'll go back to you know, old school key start, everything works. Now something else I have to figure out as well, we have the new engine wiring, that all of it comes through here, so all this crap will come out and the new wiring harness will come through. He bought the new kit from American Auto Wire, so it should fit, should plug right in. So hoping, you know, we can get that with no real issues, and kind of go down that road. So that's where we're at the moment. One of the next things that'll happen once it runs and drives, stop steers, and doesn't have any crazy issues, we will basically pull the front, we'll get the front fenders fitting, make sure everything lines up, put the hood on it, grill, bumpers, all of that, and then we'll disassemble it. Okay, we'll make sure it fits, take it all apart. Then what we'll do is we'll paint the firewall turquoise, get that done, get the block off plate here for this big monstrous hole. We're gonna make a block off plate for this, and then we're gonna put in the AC for the AC hoses and whatnot, where it's got the bulkhead. We'll put one in right there, probably a nice polished one or something like that, and then to match everything else under here. And then we'll start looking at bed lining the inner fenders on the inside of the inner fenders and the inside of the fenders on the front, and then painting this turquoise, painting all of this turquoise, just getting all this painted and ready, hood hinges painted, and then reassemble it, right, to where all we got to do is paint the outside. And at that point we're getting dangerously close to getting glass in it, and then we'll start bodywork. So figure the remainder of this week and next week we'll go to painting the dash and getting the mechanicals right and getting this running and driving, and then we're going to dive into bodywork the week after that. So and really there's not a lot. I think this thing needs a bath with Dawn first before it needs anything, honestly, to get the grease off of it. But then we'll prime it, block it, fix whatever we got to fix, and then paint this pig. So that's where we're at, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Lots of things. I know I didn't film taking the dash apart. It was just kind of started coming apart pretty quick. I was literally laying on the floor here with my feet up over the seat. But that's where we're at on this monster. I think the wiring looks pretty good. We'll have to see how that plays out, but see what works, what doesn't work, and why, and all the things. But I think we're going to be pretty good. And anyway, guys, thanks for watching Brown's Riding Custom. For those of you that were wondering, the Volkswagen thing fired right up and ran great, even though we ran out of gas yesterday. Nothing wrong with the car, just runs better with fuel in it, and so we're good there. So stay tuned, guys. Tomorrow should be really fun, starting to get into bodywork in the dash and start changing the look of this car and restoring. So that'll be fun instead of just disassembly. So stay tuned. Please like and subscribe to the channel and to the videos, and we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great night, guys.